All right, guys. So I ordered a new tumbler and I'm really excited. It arrived recently. It's the Rebel 17 low speed tumbler. Here's the box. And you get to watch me open it. Okay. Box within a box, as expected. Oh, more packaging within the box. Okay. Well, I'm glad that it's well padded for shipping. Here we go. Oh, there's the tumbler. Nice. Okay. Oh, it's quite heavy. Okay. Oh. Okay, so this is the barrel itself, I think. Yeah, I guess the base must be underneath that styrofoam. So let me put it this way so it doesn't roll off the table. So there was that whole box that I had to remove, and underneath that box there was another box, and that's where the base is hiding. Very well packaged, I think. Let me get this out. So I noticed that I think this is where the motor is supposed to sit, but there is no motor inside. Maybe it's in here. Yeah, because the barrel was very heavy. Let's see if it's actually in the barrel. Okay, yeah, it turned out that the motor was in the barrel. I got it out. Here it is. It's a... Let's see if we can focus on the writing here. 1250 RPM, 9-watt motor. It has a little switch on the wire. And this bag was in the barrel as well. I see some bolts, nuts and bolts, and I see a belt and an Allen key. All right, I've put it together. It looks pretty good, and it was pretty easy to put together. Now, I have my older tumbler here. It's the Lortone QT66, and I wanted to point out a few things in comparison between the two machines. So one thing I do notice about the Rebel 17 that I like a lot is, well, it's the fact that you can see these pillow blocks here. So it has pillow blocks, and that's going to be much nicer and probably longer lasting than the QT66, which doesn't have them. Another thing that I like about this machine is that it has a leveling feet underneath. I had to install these first before I did anything else. So you can see under here, there are these leveling feet that can just turn to level the base. Okay. Another thing that's kind of cool is the fact that there is a little on-off switch right here on the wire. So that's very nice. The QT66 doesn't have that. And one thing that I don't really like as much about the Rebel 17 is the fact that the belt is just exposed. I took the cover off, but for the QT66, there's an actual cover. or casing for the whole belt and pulley assembly here. So that seems to, I think that's a good idea to protect it, and also to prevent things from getting caught in it. Although I've never had that issue. So yeah, that's, I guess, one strike against the Rebel 17. Now, one annoying thing that I noticed about the Rebel 17 is this pulley here. It's made of plastic, and I think it's not made to very good tolerance. So what I noticed when I turn it on is that it's wobbling. So let's see if you can see it. I'm going to turn it on here. I'm going to just zoom in a little bit, move the camera over. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's wobbling. That's pretty disappointing. After spending a fair amount of change on this, we have very impressive constructions, very solid looking thing with pillow blocks and all that, and then you have this plastic pulley and it wobbles. That's pretty disappointing. I'm a little upset, to be frank. By comparison, if you look at the old QT66, it has a nice aluminum pulley here, and I'm just going to turn it on, and so you can see it doesn't have that kind of wobble. Yeah. So it runs nice and in line. One thing though is you can probably hear that it's louder. It's considerably louder than the Rebel 17. I got this used. It was a used machine. It was very old when I got it. I don't know how a new one would sound like. I cleaned this very thoroughly, but it still, sounds significantly louder than Rebel 17. Now, one thing I'm looking forward to with the Rebel 17 is I'm hoping that the motor won't run as hot as for the QT66. With the QT66, the motor is really hot. It runs really hot. And to be on the safe side, I run it with a fan, with a little fan pointed right at the motor to help it cool down. I've done some research online. Apparently, the high temperature doesn't really hurt it. It seems to be fine, but still, it's quite annoying, and I'm always a little bit worried. Whereas, I haven't tried running this for long periods, but I'm hoping that this won't run as hot. I'll let you know later, once I've actually run it for a while, how it does in that department. Okay, so after I complained to Kingsley North about the pulley, they sent me a new machine. Yeah, so that was very nice of them, and it's much better. So that makes me think that the unit I got before was a lemon. So let's have a look at the new machine, the new pulley compared to the old Lortone. So I think this pulley is running a lot better than the last ones. Comparable to the Lortone, I would say. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this one. One thing I did notice about the Rebel compared to the Lortone is on the LT66 you have these two bolts here, and this allows you to move the motor laterally, this way or that way, to adjust the tension on the belt, so that as the belt gets older, you have the option of tightening the belt by moving the motor this way, laterally this way. And I don't see anything like that for the Rebel, so I'm not sure what this means. So on the Rebel, it looks like that. So I guess, like, doesn't mean this belt is not expected to ever get loose, or maybe there's just no way to tighten it, and you just have to switch out the belt when it gets old. So here's the tumbler fully assembled. The barrel is really heavy, like I think I've mentioned. And I think it's also worth mentioning that for people who have the LT66, if you're hoping that you could potentially, run the Lortone barrels on this base, it doesn't really work because you have these two guides here on the shaft, and they serve to keep that rebel barrel in place, and they're going to get in the way of putting Lortone barrels on. They're such that you can only fit one Lortone barrel on in between these two guides. So let me show you. So like that. You can only really do that. Yeah. You can't really put two on. They're going to rock. They won't sit straight. So maybe for whoever actually prefers Lortone barrels, maybe you can run one. But yeah. But I guess like if you have this machine, you might as well use its tumbler, which is the big one here. So let's turn it on and see how it runs. It's pretty quiet. I hear some rhythmic rubbing noise. I'm not sure where it's coming from. I think it might be coming from the barrel rubbing against the guides. It seems like nothing's perfect with these machines. First I had the pulley problem, and now I have this rubbing sound. Other than that, it's pretty quiet. I would say it's quieter than the LT66 by a lot. Okay, I'll have to investigate the rubbing sound some more. But one thing I'm hoping for is a machine that's reliable that I can use for many years. With a Lortone, I got it used. I don't know how old it was when I bought it, but I've only really been able to run it for extended periods with only one barrel at a time. If I put two barrels on, after a few days, it stops. The machine, the motor is still going, but then the barrels don't turn. And this is after taking everything apart and religiously cleaning everything, all the shafts, everything, and even submerging the motor in mineral oil. Sorry, not mineral oil. What's that type of oil? It escapes my mind at this moment, but yeah, a solvent to clean it out. So before I did all that cleaning, it couldn't even run one barrel for 1 week. It would stop with one barrel after like 3 days. After it did that, it can now run one barrel for extended periods, but not two. So I think that's a well-known problem with Lortone LT66s that are old. They eventually lose the ability to drive both barrels at the same time for extended periods of time. So I'm hoping that with this Rebel 17, I have something that's more reliable and that's more durable, that can last me for many years. But we'll see. All right, so I hope this review has been useful for you. It's more of an unboxing review. I haven't actually tried using it yet. So in future installments, I'll actually report back on how it stands up to use. But for now, I hope that this has been useful for you. All right, see you later. Quick update, I turned the machine around 90 degrees and it's no longer making that noise. So I don't know what happened, but yeah, I'm pretty glad.